Jacob. How was it, Jacob?
I loved it. It was amazing.
Some cheesy parts, but awesome.
I think it needed more cheesy parts.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're here to review Step Up Revelation. Oh wait, no, it's not Revelation. They don't realize anything. It's Revolution. They start something.
You ready?
You're kidding, right?
I'm Andrew.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Jacob.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're going to be talking about this movie, a movie I think we all thoroughly enjoyed. I certainly thoroughly enjoyed it.
First reaction is much better than I thought it would be. The dancing was really good. I actually really enjoyed a lot of the cinematography, and we saw it in 3D. The 3D I thought was really well done. And,
okay, I'm sorry.
I could have lived without the 3D. I love the dancing. That was my favorite part. I could have done without the cheesy lines and the love story, but I understand why you have to have it. So, but yeah, I look forward to all the dancing. It was great.
I freaking love that movie. It was so good. Even though it's like cheesy and all that stuff, it's like, what do you expect from a Step Up movie? Like that, you're going in expecting that like cheesy romance where it's like, what the heck is going on? And it just makes you laugh so much. Oh my gosh, I love the dancing.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it more than some of the other Step Up movies. I think it's tongue-in-cheek attitude. It knows its place now. It knows what it is. And I think the cornier it got, the better it got for me. I mean, it's profoundly stupid in some parts of it. And when it got profoundly stupid, I found I liked it more. So, yeah.
This for the dancing too. And I actually thought that the dancing drove the story. I've never seen any of the Step Up movies, so I thought that the dancing really did move with the action and the storyline. And I really liked it.
So let's get down to the main two guys, our leads, Catherine McCormick and Ryan Guzman. I had to read that off my phone just now. Guzman, yeah. Luis Guzman's younger brother. That's who he is. I thought, all right, here's what I thought about them. I thought they are sensational dancers. They're pretty weak actors.
Pretty weak is an overstatement.
Yeah. It was actually kind of funny. I wanted, if there's ever a drinking game, you should do a drink every time Ryan like does something goofy with his hat, like either moves it or just kind of like does it. He is so insecure as an actor, but when he's like performing, he's fucking amazing. I'm sorry, but he's really amazing when he's dancing. But when he's trying to be a human being, a functional human being, he's laughably insecure.
I mean, the dancing is really what you get what you pay for. I mean, it is really high quality dancing. It's really well choreographed. It's really well shot. I really enjoyed all the different kind of numbers that they had. You've seen it, if you've seen any of the trailers, there's a dance in a museum, there's a dance on the street that opens the movie. The museum number, I think, was the best for just all the different ways that they kind of got everything going.
The escalator.
Yes.
Rocked your world.
That was the best dancing. Like when they're just all freeze and you're just like, whoa, that's so sick. Because it's like, there's just like a bunch of people and they're just freezing one by one. It was amazing.
So, I mean, basically, it's the idea behind the film is that they're part of this crew called the Mob, and it's this flash mob sort of dance crew, except, you know, they're really more focused on spreading like positive messages and getting people to listen, but really we find out that they're just trying to get YouTube views so they can win some YouTube contest.
We wouldn't know anything about that.
But what I thought was actually kind of cool was how they went into the planning. It kind of turned into like a little bit of like a heist movie for a second.
There are many mirrors to
like,
heist.
It was like Fast and the Furious meets dance movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
like,
how are we gonna...
Here's the DJ.
Yeah.
So
here's
true.
the artist.
Like,
here's
how
the
are we gonna
head of the
break in?
gang.
He's good with explosions.
Yeah,
he can hack into anything.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute.
The Mark Zuckerberg moment.
Yeah. I have to say, I have a lot of goodwill towards this movie because with any genre film, the most mediocre genre films and the worst genre films are the ones that use the set pieces of like token genre moments, whether it's a horror film, a chase and a knife, or an action film, an explosion and a chase, or porn. It's the sex and then the story and everything tying it together.
Yeah.
For me, dance is more like porn than it is like an action movie. A dance movie is more like porn in that I don't really need to really care about the story in order to enjoy the set pieces, which you kind of go to, which is on the marquee.
Yeah.
I get that with porn, and I get that with dance movies. For me, like an action movie.
You make it sound like you watch a lot of porn.
I think I watch
I thought
an
you
equal.
said born.
Porn?
No, born.
I think I watch an
Born
equal amount of
legacy.
porn and dance movies. I
And
think they
porn.
need to finally merge those genres together.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that like for me, in terms of genre filmmaking,
What
like
would they call that? That'd be like Get Up.
oh.
Get off.
Get off, yeah. But all I'm trying to say is that for me, like, I'm more forgiving to like a porn or a dance movie for having a weak script to tie in all the set pieces. You know what I mean?
We were saying afterwards that, you know, with like Savages was corny, but it kind of caught you off guard how corny Savages was, and so you really don't have any forgiveness for that kind of dialogue. But in this, it's, you know,
You expect it.
Yeah,
you're
it's like-
expecting corniness, so when it's actually less corny than you think it is, it's actually kind of welcoming.
You
and
think
nice.
so? I kind of wished it was more corny.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because you want it to be. See, that's the
I
thing.
know.
It's, like,
It's not that I would make fun of it. I would make fun with it.
I think that's
you
a
know?
difference of how you want to approach the genre film, though, because if you're hoping that it's more corny than it actually is, then you really want it to just embrace what it is
Well,
and just be super, super corny. But if it's like trying to be taking itself seriously, but doing it, you know, the dance and everything artistically, I think that's really ambitious of them.
I agree, and I would say like an example of one that shines in that regard is West Side Story, which, you know, it's a musical too, but it's very much a dance movie. I think that if you're gonna have, that was my main problem with this movie. It doesn't have the strength of its convictions. It kind of says we should stop being fun and we should start being relevant. We should start doing protest art. We live in a world where you can protest a lot of things, and what they were protesting in this movie is just stupid.
And talk about the ending, like 'cause
Oh,
that was kind of the
so
worst part.
they're protesting these corporate
Spoiler.
giants, and for me, the best thing about this movie is Peter Gallagher. I love that man so much. He's so cool.
So spoiler alert. Coming
And
at ya.
so at the end of the movie, they're protesting this corporate giant taking off over their block to build a hotel, which God forbid will give more people jobs. But let's forget about that part. Let's talk about what they're really protesting. It'll take away the culture.
It would take away the culture.
It'll take away the culture.
Jobs with
And-
sacrificing culture.
Yes, I agree. And there's something to be said for that, no doubt. But it was so funny at the end because they're like, you evil corporation. And then some PR guy comes by and he's like, you know, this evil corporation, I'm one of their clients and I represent Nike, and we would like to have you on our thing. And they're like, yes, let's do it, let's
So
do
they
it.
end up selling out.
So they end up protesting an evil corporation only to suck the teat of an evil corporation.
I want to talk about the dancers. First and most noteworthy is Mia Michaels. She is on So You Think You Can Dance as a judge. I think she just returned, and she is an Emmy winner for So You Think You Can Dance choreograph pieces on there. And then also she did Celine Dion's Vegas show, all the choreography for that. She's really well known. And yeah, who else? Twitch. Twitch is awesome.
Oh my gosh, his arms were like so huge. They look like his shirt was just gonna like
Yeah.
rip off at any second.
He's like a really funny
like,
guy
whoa.
who is also on So You Think You Can Dance. He went to Chapman College. Really cool guy. And there were a few cameos at the very end. There were also some people from those shows. And then Moose, is it?
Oh, I love
man.
Moose.
Andrew really likes Moose.
I applaud it.
Andrew-
I
Andrew
applaud
started
it.
that
He
hat
is.
thing?
Yeah.
Andrew started
Who is
clapping
that?
in the
Who is
theater
he?
when he first
He was in
appeared.
the last
Moose?
movie.
Yeah,
He was
it's his
also
brother.
in
The
the last
last
Second one.
step up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In the second one.
I didn't
Yeah.
know what the big deal was.
So he has been in a few
Lisa
movies.
was
just
like,
a
is
funny
he
guy.
famous?
Yeah.
He's the
Because
man.
Andrew started applauding.
Because he's not very attractive.
No.
You bite your tongue. You bite your
He
tongue.
had some major attitude in the
Yeah.
end, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess
he's been
so.
in a few other things, but most notably the second Step Up movie.
They
Yeah.
built these people up a lot, and it's kind of funny how when the people from the previous movies come in, like everybody just forgets about the storyline in this one and forgets about
Yeah.
our two leads, you know?
It's funny because there's like this thread of continuity that leads up to the dance number, and then after it starts, it's kind of just like no holds barred. We'll just evolve the world around them, and however we see fit. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense. There's this like huge buildup of all the cars lining up and creating a gridlock, but then they make just a a jump cut to them all in a circle.
Yeah.
And or it's a jump cut and they're all like doing it in a different position.
I like that. I think that it's to do with the martial arts genre, the musical genre where people jump in and dance.
I totally understand why they do it. I just think it's funny. I think you have, when you're talking about dance films, you have to kind of approach them differently because they don't musicals don't necessarily follow the same rules as the conventional comedy or teen movie or
There were a lot of kids in the audience, and they seemed to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the demographic.
That's the demographic.
And then there was us.
I want to bring up one thing that kind of annoyed me. This movie doesn't have the strength of its convictions when it comes to the revelation part. Or
Revolution.
Oh my god.
The revolution part.
I tend to disagree. I'll give my part after you speak.
Okay.
Your part.
Well, I mean, like, I thought Peter Gallagher was going to be this really maniacal corporate, like, mustache twirling dude. And it's kind of cool that he ended up just being a concerned father, which is fine, But they really didn't have a lot to protest in this movie, which is kind of annoying. In fact, like, in order to infiltrate, that was a word that I had trouble saying just now. In order to infiltrate some of the places where they eventually flash mob, they end up getting employment through there. And I thought that was funny. I thought in our day and age right now that these people who are like protesting something, they first have to get a job and can get a job in this city, and then they protest. I just think that's kind of funny. And I
think you're thinking way too much into it.
Well, I mean, I think this movie,
Seriously.
This movie is trying to, it's saying it's one thing, and then it's really just a fun movie. I think that's fine.
I think it is just fun, and I also think that
but it doesn't have the strength of its convictions.
No, but I think there is something to be said for the fact that you look at where these people are coming, the people in the movie are coming from. They're like living in a quote unquote slum, and you think like
I want to live in that slum.
But you think that they're like anti-establishment, but they're not. They're just honest, hardworking people trying to make their make their way.
Whoa! Are they honest, hardworking people?
Yes, they are.
They are.
Eddie was fired for being bad at his job, and they made it seem like, oh, these evil corporate people are firing us left and right, and blah blah blah. No, you were late for your job, and you deserve to get fired.
Okay, but the other guys didn't quit their job because of him, so they obviously they're trying to make a living. They're trying to do what's right. They're trying to do right by themselves and by their families.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I think that's all right. But I think that there's
the fact that they
hypocrisy in what they're trying to protest.
I don't know. I think the fact that they cash it.
Lisa, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to say I think Andrew's missing the point. I agree with Jimmy.
Yes.
I think that
I like the movie.
I think it's a great movie, but I also think it's a coming of age movie. So it's not. I think it's good for teenagers to see, but it's kind of like for the early 20-something set, mid-20s, just to say that at some point in your life, it's a good idea to grow up, and that, yes, sometimes we all need to find a job and make money so that we can have a living. And I really think that was one of the core messages, and that hopefully that the young people can find something that they actually really like to do. What they really like to do as far as how they're going to make their money. And so
go for doing what they really love.
Yes, go for what they're passionate about. And I think I think ultimately, I think that's the deeper message of the movie, and that the characters kind of supported each other as in Ninjago, reaching their fullest potential. So, you do have the guy who's doing all the special effects, and, you have the person who's choreographing, you have all the, and so I mean, you don't have to look that deep, but you can look that deep and see that in reaching your fullest potential, you can, be a responsible person.
Yeah,
in life. So I actually think that was.
I
a big
completely
message.
don't disagree with any of that. I just think that their corporate stooges should have been more corporate stooges. Like they weren't. They just all seemed like decent people to me.
You didn't believe it. You didn't buy it.
Some of like Eddie, his best friend, who for the first 20 minutes I couldn't tell the difference between Eddie and the main actor.
About a foot of height.
A foot of height, but they looked like the same kind of douchebag kind of guy.
What is wrong with you?
I'll probably want to go see it again, just because, for me personally, I just love the dancing. Like, I love step-up movies, and, you can't really go in expecting, an amazing, story, plot line, or whatever, because, I feel like the director, I don't know if this is, completely true or not, but the actors are, a crew. they are like, all of those actors are a part of the directors. He's trying to like show and put forward his dancers in this movie. So he doesn't really care about the story. He just cares about you liking the dancing. So from what his message would be is, I think it was great because the dancing was amazing.
Why do you think they even have a story in these movies then?
They're just
They
trying
could
to
pack
get
a lot more dancing in it if they just got rid of the
I think it
story.
would have been better. I mean, yeah, like
I mean, I don't
Like
know why
Pina.
they didn't put more
Pina, yeah,
dancing. They
Pina's
should have.
amazing.
But I mean, they're just putting that step up title in it so that people go and see it because they've seen the first one and everyone loved the first one because the story was amazing and the dancing was pretty good. And then it's like the second one, the dancing took over the plot, and then it's like from there on, it's been the same thing, dancing over the story.
I think they're trying to maybe market to a wider audience because I think this movie was more family.
Yes.
It was definitely more family oriented. It was for, you know, old people, parents, kids, and then people your age.
There was a line in there that I think Peter Gabriel said in center stage.
Gallagher.
Peter Gallagher. He said it in center stage, like in the beginning. I don't know what it is, but
Peter
I watched.
Gabriel would be
I
awesome.
watched that movie like 1,000 times when I was in college, so it was very much the same character. It was pretty interesting.
I'll say
Initial.
if I had to sum it up in one statement, come for the dancing, laugh through the fluff, and you'll be fine. I give it a 65 out of 100.
Dancing was amazing. Don't come for any other reason. And I'm gonna go with a 75.
Dancing was so good. And then the story was okay, it was cheesy, but who cares? It's supposed to be cheesy. And I would give it probably like 85.
They're really talented kids. They're insanely talented. Not very talented at emotions or acting, but you can feel that all when they dance, and it's definitely worth it to see that. You know, I would give it maybe 72.
I'm actually a sentimental person, and I like the Love Channel and Lifetime, those kinds of things. So I actually got teary-eyed at the end when they danced their final dance, and I would say 85, like a B+.
Say goodbye.
Thank you. Comment below.